Hi, my name is Trace Nichols. I am a living artist. I am a woman. This project is about me. This project is about all women artists. This project is meta. It is a celebration of the contributions women have made in the field of visual arts throughout time. It is a record for the history books. Now, while I'm busy over here at work reconstructing history, I want to share a bit more about my effort to tell her story. How is history created? I read somewhere that subjectivity is just objectivity waiting for data. History is invented. It is how we tell stories and how those stories are retold until they're believed. Those beliefs in turn become truths. The stories become our histories. But what happens when only one story is told? What happens when an entire group of people is left out of the story? Here's another question. Who controls the stories that are being written today, our new histories? Does the past continue to dictate who is written about in the future? Or are the stories being told by the people who control the market for that field? It is a bit of a conundrum, like the chicken or the egg. In this particular field, that of the visual arts, both instances are dominated by a single race and gender. That is the age-old problem. How to get the other equal and equitable representation in the art world. Maybe there is an intermediary in this equation that can help shift our coming history. A person or a group of individuals who act to make a more diverse playing field for our future generations of artists. It might be the museum curator, the gallery director, or the artists themselves that spearhead this change of a more inclusive representation of artists, living and past. My fellowship project aims to tell stories of women artists, to celebrate their achievements and their contributions to this vast and remarkable field. I will tell my stories by writing them down, by speaking their words, by showing their visual creations. I will share these things here with you today and continue to use the resources and technology available to me to spread the stories to the world. In researching this project, I fell down a veritable rabbit hole of information and angles I could take to reveal the inequity and inequality that has plagued women artists throughout time. Whether it's related to art sales, gallery representation, leadership roles in arts occupations, auction results, and private collector purchases, or general opportunities to have their work recognized and valued, women artists have historically remained undervalued, obfuscated, and heavily underrepresented in the field of art. As I began my efforts to share my findings, to spread the word and tell her story, I discovered the inequalities all around me. While falling down my rabbit hole, I was banned for life from Wikipedia for trying to write about women artists. I'm fighting to get back in. And I found another powerhouse tool for online arts education, Google Arts and Culture, only perpetuating the problem. What did I find on Google's site? Which, by the way, is a cooperation with major museums throughout the world. Well, when I visited the main artist page on their site to research all artists in their collection, using their default display of results, in other words, not by chronological order or by alphabetizing the list, Google's algorithm called up 625 artists over the first 25 pages that I decided to scroll through. Of those 625 artists, 35 were women. 35! That is only 5.6%. Now consider these two tools and their impact on research and learning, for telling stories and recording history. How many people use Google and Wikipedia as their go-to source for information, for determining the facts and record of a subject? Do you use them? So how can we do better? How can we tell more inclusive stories when the latest technology we have today continues to express the same biases we have battled for ages? Here are a few more data-driven facts I gathered down my rabbit hole. Have a look. But I don't want to spend the little time I have with you on cold facts. I came here instead to celebrate, to look at what women have done in the field of arts. Not only have I been active on social media and other web-based means of information dissemination, sharing women artists' words and works, I have been constructing my own work of art that for me represents the power and beauty of the female voices within the arts. As you watch the video of my process of creation, I will describe the various parts being constructed. The work is not yet complete. It is a true work in progress. It is a triptych of panels. The background is black. It is infinitesimal. It represents all possibilities, unrestricted and untethered from the past. Within the space exists a large female form, the representative of all women artists throughout time, and the hope for the future. Her shape is filled with over 500 faces of women artists, living and past. As you can see, the process of creation in itself is a celebration. I became very familiarized with the faces of these 500 plus women who represent the gender across all visual arts. Even in the manner in which I cut their faces out was an intimate and personal exploration of the power and beauty that exists within every facet of their facial construction. There is a landscape that is composed of torn history of art textbook pages from 25 history books. The textbook pages were deconstructed, stripped of identity and historic context, and reassembled using only their formal values, their visual language. There will also be visual representations of women artists' work coming forth from the main figure's outstretched hands, showing some of their many contributions to the field. The final piece is not yet complete, but will be for an upcoming exhibition of the Fellows projects at Anderson Ranch Art Center in April. You may wonder now if my work is done, and I will tell you that this work will never be complete in my lifetime. I will continue to fight against the giants who repeatedly present bias in their recording and representation of an all-inclusive art history. I will remain a vibrant voice that uplifts all women artists while also providing my own creative contributions to this incredible field. I want to now ask a favor of you, a way for you to be involved, that you continue this work by making sure women artists are not only equally represented, but their work is equally valued within the art world. Here is a place to begin. I made for you artist postcards. Please take one or more. Read the artist's messages and share them with others. Spread the word. Tell her story. And if you want to save a tree, or if you want to get more of the voices out there, scan this QR code to download and post a digital copy, an e-card, to any social media application. There are 26 unique and powerful voices for you to share. Finally, a few thank yous. I would like to thank the Aspen Art Museum and the Questrom Educational Fund for their support and for this fellowship opportunity. I want to give a huge thanks to Teresa Booth Brown in particular for her leadership, direction, and knowledgeable advice throughout these 9 months, as well as the immense inspiration she brings as a successful and talented living woman artist. And to my fellow fellows, who I would not have made as much significant progress without. There's nothing better for an artist than to have a support group, a community of working artists to bounce ideas off of, get valuable feedback from, and be inspired and informed by all of their expertise and gifts. I also don't want to leave without sending out a great amount of gratitude to my partner Melanie and my son Haver for being some of the most amazing sounding boards throughout this process. Their personal reflections during my development of this work was of immeasurable help. I want to thank you for being here today, part of these presentations, and thank you in advance for continuing to tell her story.